welcome to the Wellness Project. I'm Holly Jones. In this practice, we'll be wringing out the old so we can ring in the new. This practice is about twisting the body in different positions on the floor. So it's best if you have not eaten for maybe 3 to 4 hours. You also might want to have a blanket if you have one handy nearby. So by using twists, we will be allowing for undigested, not only food, but also thoughts, feelings, emotions to move through the body, and then allowing the breath to help us nourish and cleanse the central nervous system. So times of transition could be seasonal. They could also be life transitions, or it could be your daily transition, maybe from your job to your home, from daytime to evening. Anytime you feel like maybe you need to move to the next phase, whatever that is, in a conscientious way, this is a great practice. So let's get started. So to begin, you're going to lie down on your soft surface, such as a mat or carpet. You're going to lie face down. I'm going to demonstrate it, but then I'm going to come out of the pose so I can be sitting up talking to you in a volume that makes sense and feels right in your ears. So you're going to stay in the pose. I'm going to demonstrate it now, and then again, I'm going to sit back up. So this is called crocodile pose, and it allows you to really come into your breath. So you'll crisscross your arms and rest your forehead. So if you haven't already, please go into the pose. You're lying down, face down. Crisscross your arms. And right away when you're in that position, allow the muscles of your body to just relax. Use the floor or the carpet, whatever's underneath you, as a prop. It's supporting you. So allow your body to just receive. Allow gravity to take root. So it's going to be there to support you. There's nothing you have to do. And sometimes it takes some time. So give yourself, maybe it's 3 minutes, maybe it's 5, whatever you have for this first pose, because it's really meant to allow you to tune in. So much of our senses are taking in information, activity, sounds, sights, etc. When you go face down, and hopefully you feel comfortable closing your eyes here, it just brings that sense of tuning out the external so that you can tune into the internal. So allow the legs to be heavy. Allow the back of the neck to be long. Allow the feet to relax. And then begin to notice your breath. So when I say notice, doesn't mean you have to change it. Just notice your breath. Notice this diaphragmatic breath that laying face down, belly down, automatically allows you to tune into. So notice the rise and the fall of your breath. Now, of course, this can also be done if you were lying on your back. So maybe before you go to sleep at night, when you first lie down in bed, you tune into your breath for a few minutes. But there's something about laying face down that brings a different sensation, and that's what we want to go for here. So feeling around, in your mind's eye, you're going to feel your back body. We're making space in the back body before we begin more vigorous movements and twisting movements. So just another minute here. And before you come out of laying belly down, bend your knees, allow your heels to come up towards the ceiling. And then like your legs are windshield wipers, you're going to cross your legs back and forth. So I'll re-enter the pose now in case you need to see what that looks like. Please don't strain your neck to see this. So again, you're still in this pose. And by moving your legs, kicking your legs back and forth like windshield wipers, that just relieves any stuck tension in your back. To come out of that pose, then, you will just slowly re-enter and then come to hands and knees. So join me now, finding your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees aligned underneath your hips. And we'll begin with inhaling and exhaling to find movement in the spine. So when you inhale, arch the spine. And when you exhale, round the spine. Going at your own pace. As you inhale, think of opening up, finding space for the shoulders and the back of the heart. And then as you exhale, think about containment. You can even find that pulling in sensation between your pubic bone and your navel. Every inhale creates space, and every exhale contain by pulling in your navel. You're doing this at your pace, so it may not match mine. And doing this enough times so that you really feel each vertebrae open up. Create space for each vertebrae. Then come back to neutral. And now we'll do what's sometimes referred to as a puppy dog, looking back at the hip. So as you look back, you're bringing that hip towards, as if it could come towards the same side shoulder. And you just look back at it. And then you switch to the other side. So if you had a tail, you would be wagging your tail like a puppy dog. And you just take your gaze to follow. So no strain on the eyes. You're just taking your gaze back, giving your little imaginary tail a little glance from side to side. And you might feel this in your oblique muscles, but it's not something to strain for. Then from here, if the wrists need a break, you can come into a child's pose. So you'll take your knees wide and your toes to touch. And there's some options, so I'll show a few. So the first one would be you outstretch your hands and then the forehead comes to the floor. If that's not an option or available in your body, you could take your blanket prop, you could roll it up, place that underneath your head. You could either take two fists. Another option would be to, if you didn't like your legs that wide, you could bring them in. And then allow your arms to come around behind you by your feet. So take a minute here and find an option for child's pose that works in your body. So this rounding forward position also allows you to, again, bring that nourishing breath practice into the back body. We so often get congestion in our front body that it's nice to just take a minute to allow the front body to be soft and then allow the back body to broaden and find space. And bringing your awareness there, you might breathe more efficiently and you can find the nourishment in the back body that then will soften the front body. So whatever form of child's pose that you were in, please come back to hands and knees again. And we'll do what's called threading the needle. So you'll extend one arm out to the side, and then you're going to thread it through the space between your front arm and the knee. And then you'll come to rest on the side of your shoulder, the outside of that shoulder. This other hand that's there now as a support, you can dome the fingers and press into the fingers, and that pressing down into the floor allows a little more open space. And again, breathe in that space between your shoulder blades. And then press your hand down to come back up. Breathe for a beat before you switch to the other side. And you can go to the other side. I'm going to turn around. So outstretch your hand to the side and then thread it through. And using your opposite hand as a support, press in and down. So engage this arm. As you engage this arm, then you feel this behind your heart. So this area back here where our kidneys and adrenals live doesn't get enough of our attention and love sometimes, and it gets taxed. So we're taking the time to really tune in. I'm just putting my hand here for demonstration of where the breath should be nourishing you. You can keep this hand here. When you're ready, press the hand down, come back up, and then we'll come to walk the hands forward. We're going to lift the butt high and send the chest forward. So you'll keep walking your hands out, lifting your butt high, and expand and bring the chest forward to any degree. So some might be comfortably having their chin on the floor. I'm going to keep mine lifted slightly. Find that space in your armpits to get really long, hollow armpits. And then walk your hands back underneath you. And take a moment to notice how you feel. What do you notice? Where's your breath? Where's your mind? So now bring yourself to standing, taking your time. And when you come to standing, bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and we'll do some side-to-side movements. So starting small with your arms, you're going from side to side. And notice how my arms tap when I go from side to side. And my spine is in alignment even as I'm going from side to side. So my head is an extension over my heart. Everything is going from side to side as a unit. So my eyes aren't leading. I'm just following along. And my hands are tapping, which is another therapeutic release. And begin to lift the opposite heel. So just exaggerating the side to side. This is known as helicopter. So just picking up the opposite heel. And if you want to do this slower, that's totally up to you. The pace is totally up to you. Notice your breath again. Your breath might be picking up a little here, so notice if you need to slow that down or if you enjoy that little bit of energy. This is something you could do in the middle of the day if you're feeling a little sluggish and you need a little more uplift. Eventually, you will want to slow this down before you come to a still place. So, a few without the heels lifting, and then bring yourself to stillness and pause for a moment. Things might be still side to side. Bring your equilibrium back to center. Then placing your feet underneath your hips, come into mountain pose. So this isn't a lot when you are watching. So I'm going to lead you through mountain pose, and I want you to sense this internally. And I'll show you front and side view. So starting with your feet, imagine your feet as your roots. Press into your feet. And as you press into your feet and even separate the webbing of your toes, find a little uplift in the arches of your feet. And that uplift then should come through the center of your legs. So as if your legs were pulling up. So if you're height challenged, imagine you're very, very tall right now. Everyone is 7 feet tall right now. We're getting really, really strong, energetic, alive legs. Then your pelvis is that dome that we're pulling up, we're containing. So we worked on getting that energy when we were on the ground. Now we're standing, but we want to continue to contain that energy and aliveness. So the belly is lifting slightly up as the legs are also lifting up, so all the roots are firmly established so that we can contain in the center of the body. And then the shoulders have space so they can be broad. The heart can open up here. So the chest is broad and open. We're very strong. And this is actually one of the foundational poses. And like I said, you wouldn't know just if you walked by someone and they were standing, but internally, in the mind's eye, this is a very grounding pose. So from the side, the eyes are in line. So we're not looking up, not looking down. So the neck is long. We create space here so there's no disconnection. So from the heel all the way through the leg, the pelvis, the spine, and then the crown of the head as if it's lifting up beyond the ceiling. We're very tall, we're very rooted. And then the palms, if you like, you can turn the palms outward, and just that simple turning the palms outward, you begin to feel even more space across the chest. Allow the heart to be open and broad here. We're receiving in, but our back is there to support us. So we're not taking on everyone else's negative energy, because we've got support that we can take in exactly what is appropriate for us. And if it gets to be too much, we come back to the breath. Come back to the breath every time it feels like something's overwhelming. Now we'll do a breath practice. So you'll separate your feet a little bit wider, and I'll demonstrate this a few times, and then you'll just join me when you feel like you've got it. So it's 3 inhales with the arms. So we're going to inhale 1, 2, 3, and then we'll exhale fully from, it's like a guttural exhale, and we'll bend forward to any degree that feels appropriate for you. So your hands don't have to touch the floor here, but it's an inhale forward, an inhale outward, an inhale forward, and an exhale to any degree, falling forward. So it looks like this. And notice that I exhaled through my mouth. So I inhale 3 times through my nose, and then I exhale through my mouth. This is very cleansing. It's also a little bit heating. You might want to have some tissues nearby. So let's do a round of 5 when you're ready. Last one. And come up, place your hands on your hips. Find that mountain pose again. Find your breath, find your feet. And again, that's a great way to build that energy if you've been feeling stagnant, lost, confused, overwhelmed, frustrated, whatever it is. If you need to release, that's a great practice. So now we'll move on to seated postures. Okay, so now make your way to seated on the floor. And if you have that blanket, have it nearby. We're going to use it now. So you'll come to sit on the edge of the blanket. So you'll fold your blanket so that you have an edge. You'll extend both legs outward, and the first thing I like to do is pull the flesh back so that I'm really rooted on my sits bones. And then we'll pull the right knee up, drag the heel along the floor, and bring that knee close-ish to your chest. Take the right hand behind you. It's like your kickstand. You can dome the fingers and place that close-ish to your spine and get yourself really tall. Lift up through the spine and the crown of the head. With the extended leg, you're going to press that foot as if it were pressing up against the floor, the wall. So you're pressing into something, even if nothing is there, just so that you can engage that leg. Then you'll take your opposite arm, elbow, whatever feels appropriate. So it could be your hand, it could be your elbow, it kind of makes a hook here. And you'll come into the twist on your exhale. So the amount of twist doesn't really matter. It's the sensation and the ability to breathe that's most important. So the back hand press down to lift you up. So every inhale, find length. Every exhale, maybe a little more space for the navel. Think of navel twisting to the right. And notice that my head stays in alignment with my heart. That's so that the mind and the heart are still in the same central line. Otherwise, the mind will start looking off somewhere else, and then we're not tuning in. So breathe. It's a little bit challenging to breathe here, but bring awareness to your navel center on your exhale. So one more breath here, and as you exhale, maybe emphasize it for the last breath. Then inhale and release, and extend that leg out. Pause before you switch to the second side. And then as you are ready, bringing the left heel close-ish to the body, placing the left hand behind you. Now, left hand is your kickstand. It's like that support for your spine. You want space for the vertebrae so that you can be really tall. Root down through the straight leg, and then whatever you want to use, hand, elbow, try different things and see what works for you. And second side may feel different than first side. So you inhale to get tall, and then you come into the twist. And then on this side, you might be able to see the fabric of my shirt. This is where we're really wanting to emphasize. Everything we've done leads into this twist now. So everything is warm and spacious. We have space to come into this twist now. So breathe here. Keep pressing into that bottom leg. It's active as well. On your last breath, maybe squeeze a little bit more out on your exhale. And then inhale, coming forward. Extend both legs. We'll come into a forward fold, but it doesn't have to be all the way to your feet. So you'll press down through your legs. Let your legs get really heavy. Imagine that there's weight on your thighs. And then you'll start to come forward from the back body. So it might just look like this, which is great. You're just reaching out. Imagine there's weight that's pressing down on your thighs, and then you're just reaching forward. And then coming back up. Then make your way to lying down on your back. Remove your prop to the side. So lying down on your back now, and take both knees to your chest. If you want, you can rock from side to side. When you're ready, set your feet down. Press your feet down to lift your hips up just enough that you can sway your hips over to the left and then set them back down. Then lift both knees to your chest and drop them over to your right. And if you've got that blanket underneath you, you'll use it to support your legs. So we're coming into laying down twist. The arms can be where they feel comfortable. So they could be out at your sides. This right hand could be resting on top of the left knee. And then your gaze can be towards the ceiling, or you might want to even take your gaze over your left shoulder. And notice where you feel this twist. If you're not sure, so if I say, notice where you feel something and you're not sure, the best thing to do is breathe even deeper. And then as you bring your awareness to your breath, it might tell you. So it might not be where I suggest, you might feel it somewhere else. From my experience doing this kind of twist, I feel it in my low back, where we've been really focused on these adrenals and kidneys. So we're really bringing nourishment using the breath to open up, create space, and cleanse. When you're ready, on an inhale, bring both knees back up to your chest. Then set the feet down, square your hips. Pause in the center. Then you'll bring both knees into your chest. Squeeze one more time, just in case there was any stuck feeling in the low back. You can rock from side to side. Place your feet down, press your feet down so that you can lift your hips up, shift your hips over to the right, pick up your knees, switch your blanket to the other side, and then drop your knees over to your left side. And again, the opposite arm can be extended. It could be in a goalpost. And the opposite hand might be resting on top of the top thigh. Now with this prop, I'm using it underneath my bottom leg. Some people might prefer, you can try this, to place that blanket between your legs. That's another option. It's also great if you extend the blanket so that you don't have ankles rubbing on top of each other. If you have two blankets, you could have a blanket underneath the bottom leg, another blanket in between the legs. And from here you can probably see visually better how this back body gets a chance to open up. So we bring our attention to our breath. So we don't just flop into these poses. We're very aware of what the body is doing. We come into the pose with intention and we release out of the pose with intention. We give it time so that the mind can be quiet and still. We go inward so that we can listen to the sound of our own breath. Know that you can stay here as long as you like, but if you need to release out of the pose, place your blanket to the side, bring both knees into your chest as you inhale. Squeeze the knees into your chest. Place the feet down and then square yourself back up. So square your hips, square your shoulders and your head. And then you might want to walk your feet a little bit further away from you. Allow the knees to touch one another and the ankles to be out. And just pause here. Feel the effects of this practice. So even if you just have 1 minute, I encourage you to take that 1 minute and make it the most nourishing 1 minute of your day. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Know that what you are doing is enough. Trust that this practice, whatever it is for you, however you showed up, it is enough. Stay here as long as you like. When you need to come out, you'll roll to one side. So taking your time, you'll roll to one side. And then use your arms to lift yourself up. Take your hands to your heart. Bow your head. May this practice benefit not only you, but all beings. Be well.